Going into the 2014 season, Ohio State had a plan. Braxton Miller was supposed to be back from the shoulder injury that hampered him in the Orange Bowl against Clemson and ready to lead the Buckeyes on a championship run. But during fall camp, the plan drastically changed as Miller re-injured his shoulder during a non-contact drill in practice. He was done for the season.
While Miller's injury left Ohio State fans wondering about the team's future, the college football world was wondering about the way the new format for crowning a national champion would work. For the first time since 1998, the College Football National Championship would not be decided by the BCS computer rankings, turning out two teams that would play. Instead, a 13-person committee made up of athletic directors like Pat Hayden, legendary coaches like Barry Alvarez, and even former Secretary of State and longtime football fan Condoleezza Rice would decide four teams that would make the playoff and play out to see who will win the national championship.
Named Braxton Miller's replacement heading into the season opener against Navy. The Buckeyes started slow and trailed 7-6 at halftime, but Barrett and the Buckeyes would pull away to win the season opener by 3 scores. But any comfortability the Buckeyes and their fans had after beating Navy was quickly crushed in the home opener against Virginia Tech. The Hokies would come out and dominate the first half in the shoe and took a big 21-7 lead into halftime. The Buckeyes would battle back to tie the game in the second half, but a late J.T. Barrett pick six would give the Hokies the 35-21 upset win.
Just a 7-point game, and Brewer loses the ball. Ohio State recovers. Rashad Frazier there to pick it up, and the Buckeyes, great field position. 2 plays later, Ezekiel Elliott takes the pitch on the option, waits for a block, and gets to the end zone, tied at 21 with 11:40 to go. Virginia Tech, resilient, answers the call. Brewer to Bucky Hodges, touchdown. Brewer 199 yards passing, 2 scores. Beamer would say after the game, quote, "I like that guy." Ohio State looking for the game-tying score. Barrett's pass picked off by Donovan Riley. That seals it, but why not put a bow on it? The pick six. Hokies win it 35-21. A huge win over a top 10 team on the road. Virginia Tech now 2-0. I'm Jeff Michelle. You're watching the ACC Digital Network.
The Buckeyes answered the depressing loss to Virginia Tech by going on a string of blowing out Kent State, Cincinnati, Maryland, and Rutgers. The Ohio State offense did not score less than 50 in any of those games. This led to a primetime showdown in Beaver Stadium as Ohio State faced Penn State. Ohio State's offense continued to roll and took a 17-0 halftime lead, but then the Penn State defense woke up and held Barrett, Ezekiel Elliott, and the rest of the Buckeye offense off the scoreboard in the second half and scored Penn State's first 6 points of the game during a pick six. Penn State and Christian Hackenberg would drive 91 yards, set up a 31-yard field goal to complete the comeback and force overtime with both teams tied at 17. In overtime, Penn State would score first, but Ohio State would answer on just 3 plays and send the game to second overtime. It took just 3 plays again for Ohio State to score, and then Joey Bosa would step up on 4th down and throw Penn State's running back into Christian Hackenberg for the game-winning sack.
Ohio State followed the disappointing low first playoff rankings and the blown second half lead at Penn State by blowing out Illinois 55-14. This set up a top 10 showdown between Ohio State and Michigan State, and the Buckeyes were out looking for revenge after the Spartans upset Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game the year before. The Buckeyes and Spartans battled for the entire game, but Michigan State could never quite catch up with Ezekiel Elliott in a powerful offense, and Ohio State ran away with a 49-37 victory.
Right corner of the end zone. Makes the touchdown catch of 7 yards. He beat R.J. Williamson to the spot for the football, and Ohio State has a 41-24 lead. J.T. Barrett gets the snap, feeds it Ezekiel Elliott again, coming left side to the 15, to the Spartan 10, to the 5, and to the end zone, Ezekiel Elliott with his second touchdown of the night on a 17-yard run. And Ohio State has thrown 6 more on the board here in East Lansing to take a 48-31 lead.
After beating Minnesota and Indiana, Ohio State was beginning to enter rumblings of still being alive in playoff chase, especially when combined with upsets around college football. Ohio State would then face rival Michigan. The Buckeyes used a huge second half to handily beat the Wolverines, but would lose J.T. Barrett to an injury in the fourth quarter.
Michigan season is over. Ohio State keeps its playoff hopes alive with win number 11.
Overbreaking, man, I've been working harder to be beyond the greatest, and I'm gone.
Smith, oh, he made the catch. Touchdown, Buckeyes.
Third-string quarterback turned starting quarterback, Cardale Jones had all eyes on him as the Buckeyes entered the Big Ten championship game looking to make their final case for a spot in the college football playoff. Behind the strong arm of Jones, aka 12 Gauge, and the speed of Elliott, the Buckeyes would rout Wisconsin 59-0 to win the Big Ten championship. This impressive win propelled Ohio State over TCU and Baylor to get the 4 seed in the first ever college football playoff.
Dropping back, going for it. Oh my goodness! Devin Smith again! Cardale Jones, baby!
We anticipated. They don't know their fate just yet. And here's how we're going to do it this time. I'm going to go ahead and show you number 4, and then we'll pop out number 5 and 6. None of us know who it is. So, who will play Alabama? And it will be the Buckeyes of Ohio State, champions of the Big Ten that make it into the college football playoff. Another 12-win season under Urban Meyer. And this one pays off with a spot in the playoff.
And you get Urban Meyer,
Nick Saban,
and Nick Saban in a Sugar Bowl.
Outstanding.
What job done by Urban Meyer with his third-string quarterback? I mean, the question mark is 5 days ago, can they get there? Now they get there with Cardale.
State of the Alabama 3. Marshall motioning into the backfield. Give to Elliott. Straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott. His 13th rushing touchdown of the season. The first TD of the night for Ohio State, who trails 21-12. Marshall motions into the backfield. Snap to Jones. Hands it Marshall. And it's reverse. Ball is given to Spencer, who throws left corner of the end zone. Caught to Michael Thomas. The official signal touchdown. Evan Spencer with a touchdown pass to Michael Thomas. Evan Spencer with his first pass attempt in his career. And Ohio State gets 6 points thanks to some trickery. They trail 21-19. 3rd and 8, Ohio State at the Alabama 47. Jones to pull the trigger. Looks and he fires long. Down the
Ohio
right
State
side,
drew Nick Saban and the number 1 Alabama in the college football playoff semifinal game in the Sugar Bowl. After falling behind early, the Buckeyes used the legs of Ezekiel Elliott and a little trickery to pull within a point heading into halftime. In the second half, Cardale Jones and the Buckeye passing attack took advantage of Bama loading the box to put Ohio State ahead. With less than 4 minutes left in the game, Zeke Elliott took off for an 85-yard touchdown run to give the Buckeyes the lead. They went on to win 42-35 and earned a spot in the national championship game against the number 2 Oregon Ducks, who had knocked off Florida State in the Rose Bowl to win the other semifinal game.
Ohio State 23. Sims out of the shotgun. Rolls to his right, looking to throw. Cranks and fires deep, and that ball's intercepted by Von Bell. He brings it up to the 8 and is tackled at the 6. Von Bell comes up with his 6th pick of the year. It's the 2nd interception thrown by Blake Sims. I don't know who he was throwing that ball to. Jones resets in the shotgun, gets the snap. Hands it to Elliott, who goes sweeping to the left side. Gets to the 20, loose to the 30, to the 40, down the left side to the 50 goes Elliott. He's going to take it to the house. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. 85 yards. 3 wide to the right, single flanker to the left. Sims in the shotgun with a snap. Drops behind the 50 to throw. Sims rolls to the right, guns it long, down the right side. Ball in the air toward the end zone. And that ball is going to be Buckeyes.
Later in the first quarter, Ezekiel Elliott would join the party on a 33-yard run to even the score at 7. Ohio State's next possession, redshirt sophomore Cardale Jones would look for Devin Smith in the end zone, but would draw a pass interference call. This would set up Ezekiel Elliott on a 17-yard rush to put Nick Van Nett on the end of a 1-yard touchdown reception. Buckeyes would go up 14-7. In the second quarter, Cardell Jones would fumble the ball, which would be recovered by Oregon. Marcus Mariota would find Byron Marshall first on a 20-yard and then on a 17-yard pass. But Thomas Tyner would be stuffed at the line on a 4th and goal. Buckeyes' next possession will end in another turnover. This time, Jones will find Corey Smith for 47 yards, but Troy Hill would take the ball away. However, Oregon would not be able to convert.
The national championship game took place at the Cowboy Stadium in Dallas. The Buckeyes were the underdog to Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Mariota and the high-powered Ducks offense. Ohio State dominated in the first half and took a 21-10 lead into halftime. Mariota and the Ducks fought back in the early second half and pulled within a point, but Zeke Elliott would score in the final seconds of the third quarter and in the Buckeyes' first possession of the fourth quarter to give Ohio State the 35-20 lead. That's all the Buckeyes would need as they would go on and win the national championship 42-20.
Turnover woes would continue for the Buckeyes in the third quarter as Cardell Jones is intercepted by Danny Mattingly. This time, Oregon will be able to convert Marcus Mariota on a 70-yard touchdown pass to Byron Marshall, 21-17 Ohio State. Cardell Jones would later be sacked by Tyson Coleman again, 17-yard loss, also another fumble. Ohio State would later cap a 12-play, 75-yard drive that takes 6:39 off the clock. Ezekiel Elliott would score from 9 yards out to make it 28-20. Now in the fourth quarter, Cardell Jones would come out slinging. First a 23-yard pass to Michael Thomas, and then another 19-yard toss to Jalen Marshall before Ezekiel Elliott again would punch it in from 2 yards out. That would make it 35-20 Ohio State. Ezekiel Elliott would manage another 1-yard run to make it 42-20, and that'll be your final score. So the Ohio State Buckeyes would claim the first ever college football playoff championship.
For Ohio State, the 2014 season started off with the adversity of losing Braxton Miller and was compounded with the shocking home loss to Virginia Tech. Later, as the season wore on, the team faced more adversity with the loss of J.T. Barrett a quarter before the Big Ten championship game and the shocking death of practice squad member Costa Karageorge. But the team rallied, and with the help of new stars such as Cardell Jones and national championship game MVP Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State won their 8th national title in football program history and sent 6 players to the NFL via the 2015 NFL Draft. It was one of the most historic seasons in college football history.